pregnant wife cheated. My wife and I have been married for 3 years, and we have a 2-year-old boy. We are now expecting our second child, who is due in a few weeks. We both work from home and have been confined to our own homes for about a year, so we are used to seeing and talking to one another every day, none of which I am complaining about. I actually love being with the family. There are other stresses in my life, however. I have poor self-esteem. I am concerned about money. I am concerned about the health of my extended family, and I am concerned about my work. But at the very least, I try not to allow any of this have an impact on my family life, especially on my kid. My wife, on the other hand, is well aware of the stress I'm experiencing. I have communicated my distress several times, and I recognize that most of it is beyond my control at this moment. Copid. My wife and I are completely honest with each other about everything, or so I thought. And we both have our faces registered on each other's phones, so that we can unlock each other's devices, Face ID. I had complete faith in her and never once questioned anything she was doing on her phone, no matter what time of day it was or how long it had been since she had responded to a message on social media. I handed it up to her because I had complete faith in her. Let's fast forward to last week, when I was just about to hand her phone over to her from another room. The phone was lying flat on the table, and I turned the screen to face me as I usually did, expecting to see a picture of our son on her home screen. Instead, the screen opened to her photo gallery, where I discovered some photos of her barely clothed, as well as one incriminating photo of her lying down and slightly pulling her underwear. I didn't want to trust what I was seeing, so I gave the phone to her and walked away. But it was killing me, and I had no choice but to face her and inquire as to what those pictures were. This is when the deception begins. Initially, she said little more than, "I want to feel good about myself before I get the bump from pregnancy." I called BS on it, stating that you don't take photos in such postures for that purpose at all. She admitted that she was mailing them to someone, but that was the extent of the conversation. I didn't want to know who did it or how it occurred. I was simply come to go through everything that had happened. Mostly because I was in shock and partly because I had to look after our child. I decided to ignore it for the rest of the day. I remained aloof throughout the day, not wanting to be around her and seeking some space. I searched Reddit, Quora, and any other site for information or help that night since I had no one to speak to and nowhere to go while the city was shut down. I couldn't sleep, and the following day I was adamant about finding out who it was. It turned out to be a coworker, and they had been communicating over their company's Teams chat application. When I inquired as to how far it had gone, she said that it had just been the images. I had a sneaking suspicion that there was more BS going on, so I requested to view the conversations on Teams and on Instagram. She was reluctant. She didn't want to show me because she didn't want to harm me, so she didn't. Yeah, I know, should have called it. I was becoming more agitated, but I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. So I informed her that I would not be able to continue until I received the messages. She continued to make reasons for not wanting to injure me, but I was starting to see a pattern in her behavior. The next day was a work day, and since we shared office space in our home, I was able to catch her typing rapidly away on a Teams chat a couple of times throughout the day. There were no guesses as to who it was. After work, I approached her, and she insisted that she would not reveal the texts. I finally gave up and informed her that I needed to see this or else we were parting ways. She returned to me the next day and admitted that she had lied, that they had met twice, and that the most recent meeting had been a week earlier, during which they had just kissed. I was enraged. How could she be so rude? I was well aware that they didn't just kiss, and when combined with all of the trickling realities, it was even more absurd to think I'd believe it. I insisted that they show me the conversations right then and there. I was aware that she had removed the conversations from her Instagram account, and that her sleazy affair partner was attempting to cleanse his chat messages from his phone. The sheer amount of communications was remarkable. I spent a total of 2 hours reviewing messages that had been sent during a 3-month period. When it first began, it was flirtatious, but soon became heated, with one of them even saying how they would want other. She was longing for him in the conversations, and what was worse was that they both knew that what they were doing was immoral. yet they continued to do it anyway. Now, we're on lockdown here, so we can't really go anywhere except for groceries and the such, but these two felt their adventure was worth foregoing the lockdown and our marriage in order to participate in. We've been arguing every day since then, and I don't believe her when she claims she is apologetic for what she's done. Increasingly independent, she suggests that she has her own emotions and that she is not obligated to continue living in this manner. By this, I mean me looking through her phone now, not trusting her. She accuses me of having an affair since I was not intimate with her and did not give her the attention she required. I tell her that she has shattered my heart and destroyed our marriage, but she only wants me to get through it so that we may restore our relationship together. Even as I write this, it seems like I am being a chump and taking everything in stride. Maybe I am simply being weak, but I am terrified for our children's well-being. I adore them and worry about them. We are going to marital counseling in 2 days, and I am preparing myself for the criticism she will level at me, as well as the possibility that she may use this as an excuse for what she did. I'm looking for some advice on what to do next. Should we separate? We are expecting a child in the near future, and I'm concerned that I will not be financially secure enough to withstand it. In a situation when she's gaslighting me, how can I gain her trust? Sorry if this is a lengthy post. I have no other means of expressing my sorrow. Update. I've informed her parents, and she'll be living with them for at least a month at this point. Maybe my prior description didn't provide a whole picture, but she clearly lied and concealed information. She's done a lot more contrite, and she's apologizing for everything she's done. She was embarrassed and felt a great deal of guilt. She has said that she would go to any length to win my faith, even undergoing a paternity test and DNA analysis. The fact that she screwed up, and this is all on her shoulders, has been acknowledged, and she is prepared to wait as long as it takes since she knows things will never be the same again. I appreciate all of the comments concerning DNA testing and whether or not the children are mine. Nevertheless, I am 100% certain that they are both mine. Unless she has the ability to be in 2 places at the same time, there is no way they could be anyone else's. We put the home on lockdown so that I'll know when she leaves the house. Likewise, I appreciate all of the suggestions about separation and divorce. I'll be meeting electronically with an attorney in 2 days to discuss my choices in this area. If I pursue this path, it will be a lot of effort, but I've been told that if both sides can agree, it will be less costly and less likely to end up in court. I'm going to both the individual therapy and the couple counseling tomorrow because I'm interested in seeing where it goes. At this point, it's too early to make any choices, and I don't want to make any decisions based on emotion at this point, particularly when a child is involved. She is well aware that we have the option of ending our relationship. I have made this very clear. So for the time being, I really need to get some sleep since I'm exhausted from not getting enough. The fact that I know both kids are mine is because we were really conscientious about monitoring and natural birth control. That is not a concern for me since I know when and how we conceived, and from what I've seen in their conversations, there seems to be no mention of meeting up during the conception window for the kid to arrive. I would have noticed her stepping out the house during a work day. Because we had planned this pregnancy and were having almost every day up until we found out she was pregnant about a month ago, it's all the more surreal. We didn't stop having totally after that, we simply didn't do it as often as we used to. The reason I'm sending her to her family's home tomorrow is something she can explain to them. I need more room, but I will not be leaving this home. I understand all of the pressures on me to go. I'm simply afraid of where to begin, since I don't know where to begin. I'll make her comply with my request tomorrow, including transferring all of her social media accounts to me and allowing me to retrieve everything she erased. I have screenshots of various conversations, but it would be nice to have the whole conversation.